Hi guys, this is Phil with We Heart Music Radio Weekend Gamer. So I've been playing the original Diablo on GOG, and it's kind of like made me kind of want to play the new Diablo because I'm just kind of sick of the original graphic. I just want some HD image, and so restarting Diablo. I guess the Reaper of Soul version I have comes with the new a brand new character called the Necromancer, and if you've never played the Necromancer, he or she is actually a really powerful character, and I guess we'll see in a minute, but I'll kind of explain some of the strategy you want to use with this character. Is the one of the best thing about them is the exploding corpse, because each of the character that dies leaves a corpse, and then you can use the your power to explode it. And you can cause chain reaction that just does just massive amount of damage. You won't get it until a certain level. So, but anyway, yeah, as you can see, Diablo 3 looks gorgeous. I mean, when it first came out, it was gorgeous. There was a bit of a controversy when it first came out because it requires you to be always online in order to play, and of course they said that it has something to do with their system where you can buy stuff. But the what it comes down with to is that it's a DRM, and they just don't want people like pirating the game. And what they have to understand is people who pirate games are people who can't afford the game. And I know what you're saying is like, well, then just don't play, right? But you'd have to understand that they play these games, and then once they make money or have money, they'll go back and they'll pay back what I guess what they stole, whatever karma. That's just my thing. I don't think piracy really does hurt the gaming industry. And if you make a great game, a great product, people will pay for it, or people will find some way to promote it or to pay for it, or not in just the game, but maybe buying your merchandise or some kind of supporting whatever future product you might have. I know it sounds terrible, but I believe that that's the case. And but anyway, but if you make a bad game and somebody like is pirated and they hate it, well, no, I guess there's nothing you can do about it. It's just money you've lost. But anyway, I pay for all my games, and so I guess I can be on a high horse about it, or whatever. But yeah, but Diablo 3, there I do not believe there's any way to pirate the game because of the way the DRM system works, which requires you to be online all the time. But yeah, so Diablo 3 is great. It supports ultra widescreen, which I guess most gamer have. Right now, we're looking at the inventory. I've actually been playing this game a lot, and so I've actually built up quite an inventory. And what's cool is you can carry your same inventory that you've collected over the years over to new characters or other characters. And this part of the fun way of playing, replaying, or establishing the game. I can't use any of these items because they're very all high level stuff, and but that's fine. I mean, this character, the Necromancer, is so powerful that it really doesn't matter. But I guess he or she is only powerful if the I guess if you play on normal, which is the basically easy. So if you're up for a challenge, you do need to change the difficulty level to like nightmare. If it lets you. I know that they might, if you start the game the first time, it might lock you to the original easy mode until you can beat the game and then unlock the other difficulty levels. But I know that starting out, you're almost overpowered. Well, at least this character. I know when I played witch hunter or even the monk, it is somewhat of a challenge because the attacks is not as powerful as the necromancer. All right, so what else? Let's talk about the original Diablo. So when that came out, it's such a blockbuster hit for Blizzard. At the time, I guess Blizzard North they were known as, and I recall getting the game on a demo disc, like on a PC Gamer or some kind of a magazine that came with the actual demo disc. And this is really before high speed internet was a thing. And this is how I would always get like demos of games through these discs because took too long and it was too pricey to download these demos off the internet or download games in general off the internet. So I would get these game on a demo disc, and the demo disc was great for a time. But when the internet speed and caught up with the world, the disc basically became useless, or nobody wanted the disc because if they just wanted a demo, they'll just download it online for free. Anyway, the disc was a great thing, and Diablo was one of the discs that I came with. I don't know if I still have the original disc, but I've kind of cherished it because it's like the first introduction to Blizzard's Diablo. And from that demo disc, I played it, and it was awesome. And it's the first time I ever played like an action role playing game, which I guess maybe even at the time might be a new genre that because previously I was playing a role playing game that was very traditional or turn based, and it was not live action live character. Basically every movement and attack you can't pause the game, and it was my first experience with it, and like I said, it was new to me. And anyway, from the demo, obviously I was sold. I bought Diablo when it first came out, and it came out in a huge box. If you buy in PC games at the time, you can get a retail store like Best Buy, and they came in a giant box. And then in the box is a little CD, a 5-inch CD, and then and most of the game is on the CD. So you needed very fast CD ROM reader to read the data as quickly as you can, and entirely the game is on the CD, which is I guess 700 megabyte of data. So yeah, that was the thing. And then what else? Had a great time when after you beat it, or after maybe a year, or not even a year, there was all kind of clones that popped up. Everything from Titan Quest to what is that other game? There's so many games. And I remember buying and trying them all out, and they were just not as good. But yeah, I guess that genre just inspires so many knockoff. Diablo 2 came out, and I guess it wasn't as well received, and I think part of the problem is that it was a bigger game, but the graphics seemed almost dated at that time that it came out, and it didn't look as good. And I don't know what it is, but I never got into Diablo 2 as much as I did Diablo 1, the first one. And I mean, I still played Diablo 2 to death, but like I said, it wasn't I remember as fondly. I think maybe now you might remember fondly, but it's at the time it is what it is. Anyway, and then there's an expansion that came out for Diablo 2. I think it was Throne of Baal, maybe. And I don't remember what else that added. It might have added like new HD support, which is like at that time 600 by 800, maybe. It wasn't high res as you would think HD in terms of HD as you would think. It was still very not as good looking. So yes, Diablo 2. What else? When Diablo 3 was announced, like I said at the time, they did have a controversy of having the DRM system where you had to be online, and that kind of like made a lot of people mad, including myself. I was not a fan of always being online. I just don't like the idea of owning a game and then unable to play. Oh, here is the exploding corpse, by the way. This is the best skill that you can have on the necromancer character, and I'll show you how it works in a second after we get what's her name to follow you to unlock the gate. Okay, here's Leah. She's gonna follow you, and let me see if I can use any of these things. Okay. Well, I know I'm gonna use this helmet, be able to access this helmet at a certain time, so I'm just gonna put it in because I know I'll be able to use the helmet pretty soon. Anyway, so what else? So yeah, they did have the that problem with the DRM system, and I think to this day I'm kind of a little bitter about the DRM thing. I feel like I don't always have to be online in order to play games I own. I feel like that's kind of ridiculous, but I guess what can you do if you want to play the game? You pretty much have to play by the rules. And in this case, you have to be online. Anyway, so I kind of made a ban against Blizzard for a time because I just didn't believe, that you should be online to play a single player game. And so I bought, but they came out on console, which I bought the disc, and then I eventually got it for the PC, and I didn't pay full price. I think I got a discount on this when the expansion came out, so I got it with the expansion for cheaper than normal retail. So I didn't feel bad about the game being cheap. So. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. But yeah, so anyway, once you get the exploding corpse option, you're just gonna have such a great time. You can just explode, and they chain react. So if one corpse explode and it's near enough to the next corpse, that corpse will also explode, and so on and so forth. And you just basically need one of them to activate, and then pretty soon a crowd of enemies will be reduced to basically nothing. And yeah, it's a really like a powerful skill. In fact, I think maybe perhaps the necromancer is too powerful, maybe in my opinion. He kind of has this like long distance things where they basically can attack from far away, and yet uses a destructive exploding corpse, and basically what you don't need like high armor because you're always kind of out of the way. So it's really the best of both worlds. I mean when I had a lot of trouble playing with the witch hunter, which is or the demon hunter, which is kind of like the rogue version of Diablo 3, and the I don't know they it seems like they kind of like made the witch hunter less powerful, and so it seems much harder to play that character than the general rogue, which I enjoy playing. I think it's just that style play that I like, where I like to hit things from a distance and then keep out of trouble, and have a high enough dexterity to avoid a lot of damage, and maybe do a lot of critical hits and stuff like that. I do have to say though that the paladin character is amazing once you unlock the ability to carry a two-handed weapon in one hand, because then that way you're also introducing for your second hand to introduce like a shield, so that way you can basically have the damage of a two-handed weapon, but with the defense of a shield on your alternate hand. And that to me is pretty amazing. I don't know if you can play like a dual two-handed character weapon, like basically having two-handed weapons in both hands. I guess I've never thought about that, but that's something you can also do where the paladin can do that. And I thought that character, once you unlock that quirk or that perk, it's you're pretty much almost unstoppable because. But again, though, that skill doesn't come out until very kind of like near the end of the game, where your character might be high enough to it really wouldn't matter as much. But yeah, but that's another powerful character. But yeah, and I guess maybe even the mage is pretty powerful, but I've like that's not my style of gaming at all. So I haven't really concentrated on playing or building up the mage character. But anyway, but yeah, Necromancer. I love the play of this, and if you never played Diablo 3, yeah, it's such a great game. It's such a worthy successor to the other Diablo that went before it. I'm kind of hoping that Blizzard or GOG would kind of remaster Diablo 2 now that Diablo 1 is available. Because that Diablo 2 might be a fun game to revisit. I own the original disc and everything, but I don't know if I want to like install it now on disc because I guess if you are aware of the kind of like the old DRM system where they requires you to keep the play disc in your CD-ROM in order to play the game as some kind of like check against for that you own the disc. But I mean, come on. I mean, that's not something I want to leave a CD-ROM in my CD tray all the time. So I think maybe having Diablo 2 officially available digitally online, or available to buy from GOG or GOG. Would be kind of like a great alternative. I might actually will buy that game again, just to kind of bask in the nostalgia train that I seem to be on. But anyway, but yeah, I'm gonna about to leave it there. So if you like the Blizzard, I know that I've read somewhere that Blizzard is actually doing quite terrible at the moment once they kind of divorced themselves from Activision. So I kind of feel that I think a lot of talents is leaving Blizzard right now. And I know when Diablo Legacy, which is like a mobile version of Diablo, was announced, people were just not very happy about that, and you can understand it because nobody wants to play games on their phone. I'm a I'm a part-time gamer. I like gaming, but I don't want to do it on my phone. And having said that, though, I do play like little mindless games on my phone, which when I'm waiting for the bus or whatever. But I don't want to experience a Blizzard like that at all. And I think the developer or Blizzard kind of lost sight of that. And I really understand the frustration of fans who thought maybe they should be spending their time working on Diablo 4, or maybe even another expansion to this Diablo, Diablo 3 Plus or whatever, because players wants more of this, and not necessarily this on a telephone. But yeah, I hope Blizzard is working on next Diablo, although they have not announced it. But anyway, so thank you for watching and listening, and we just saved Decker Kane, who will identify stuff for you for $50.